All right, so what is the deal with potty training anyway? Like, who's getting a gold star if your child is potty trained by age 2? Welcome to the Peace on Purpose podcast. My name is Leslie Burris. You can call me LB. I'm a mom of 7, and today we're going to be talking about potty training, specifically how I do it, but also how to prepare your heart and mind for the comments of other people on when they think your children should be potty trained. Because let's face it, outside pressures and our own internal pressure from ourselves on when our children should be potty trained is the thing that helps us to lay down our piece, start to panic, and really not enjoy the process. So if you're somebody who's been feeling overwhelmed about learning how to potty train your child, you're in the right place. I'm going to share with you how I potty train my kids, but also how I don't potty train my kids, and how I really prepared my heart and my mind for other people's opinions on the way that I parent my children. I pray that this episode will bless your face off. And if you know any moms who are stressed or worried about potty training their children, send them over my way, because I would be so glad to encourage them. So this podcast episode stems from a text message I got a couple weeks ago from my friend Paige. Shout out to you, girl. She said, "Hey, shout out to you for teaching me I don't have to rush potty training." What? She said, "I tried 3 months ago because my son took off his diaper and peed in the toilet and then cried every time I mentioned underwear. Finally, he is doing it, and literally doing it perfectly, including pooping." She says this: "He's almost 3.5, so I was worried that I was going to have to use force. My in-laws were making comments, and even my husband started making comments. I was really nervous," she goes on to say, "because I didn't want to force him into underwear and have him cry and be sad." Solidarity, okay? So before we talk about potty training, I'm pretty sure that there's a lot of moms who resonate with my friend Paige here. Just feeling a little bit overwhelmed, understanding that, you know, especially when you see other people who have potty trained their kids, you know, by 2 years old or 2.5, and your child is almost 3.5, and you're like, "Oh, are they going to do it?" Especially when they hit 3.5 or 3.5 going on 4, I definitely see a lot more moms lay down their piece about potty training when it comes to their children, because the thought they're telling themselves is, what if they don't learn how to go potty? And with anything, when it comes to figuring out what you're most afraid of or where you're laying down your piece, all you need to do is take that what if and scratch it away from the sentence and turn that into a statement, and you've decided what you believe. What if my child is never going to learn how to use the potty? Scratch the what if. My child is never going to learn how to use the potty. And so when we sit in that thought and we think about it, it produces all these feelings of overwhelm, especially with our own capability. We make it mean something about our motherhood, and you know, what is that going to mean for other people? What are other people going to think when my child isn't using the potty? When really and truly, if you can hold steady, this skill of potty training is going to happen. It is going to happen. It's inevitable, because eventually your child will want to get on the potty because they want to stop using their pants. Now, I know some kids are tricky, and some kids are a bit more stubborn, and some kids are a bit more timid, and they'll even go to like 4.5. But I promise you, if you can plant the seeds of praise in advance, your child is more likely to cross that skill and learn that skill with grace and ease. So first, we have to define what potty training is. Okay? Potty training is transitioning a child from diapers to the toilet. And really, it is a choose your own adventure ride here. And especially, I have successfully helped 5 of my 7 children transition from diapers to toilet with grace and ease, understanding that everybody learns new skills on their own timeline. We have to remember as mothers that humans are going to human. There's no gold star on a chore chart when your child potty trains at age 2. And there's no demerit for the child who learns how to potty train at age 4.5. Okay? So For moms specifically, and I'm going to set potty training aside a little bit. When it comes to motherhood, the reasons that we lay down our piece is because, first of all, we have to acknowledge as mothers, we've never mothered this person before. Even as a mom of 7, every child of mine is different. And so I have this thought of like, am I capable? What if I am not capable? Okay, again, scratch that what if. I am not capable. If I don't believe I can help them overcome and accomplish the skills, well then what do I make that mean about my motherhood? I see this all the time. The number one thing that hangs us humans up is that when we aren't good at something, we make it mean that we are not good. Well, I've never done that before. What if I'm no good at it? We have all this mind drama and we're like, well, what if they don't get it? What if they hate it? What if it's, what if it's just this terrible experience? And so I know for me, when I was potty training my first daughter, I was not looking forward to it. If anything, the reason I took the potty training route that I did, which is pretty much just letting her come to the bathroom with me for 2 years and watching me do it, which toddlers already love to do that. Spoiler alert, they're really good at learning new skills by just simply following you. And that's good news. We have lots of jokes about toddlers putting their hands under the door and saying, Mom, Mom, Mom. Like, let them watch you go to the bathroom and they will learn the skill of going to the bathroom. But what we can make that mean about our motherhood and our capabilities is we can really miss out on the fun that it can be. And I didn't realize this on my first child, but potty training doesn't have to be hard and it doesn't have to be terrible. You can actually enjoy this process. In fact, the more that you can learn early on in your motherhood to enjoy the process of helping your children acquire skills, the more rich of an experience it's going to be for both of you, the better the relationship you're going to have. So my friend Paige came back and said she was most worried about her in-laws saying like, my in-laws think that I'm soft, like he's the one that's running the show. What I want to usually remind moms of today is that our parents, the grandparents, or people who are older, who are 20, maybe 30 years removed from raising small children, is they have something called toddler amnesia. Now, this is not a reason to be bitter or angry or be like, well, you just have toddler amnesia. You don't even remember what it's like to have potty training. It's more of a thought that provokes compassion instead of you taking it personally that they think you should be potty trained by now. I actually put a poll out on Instagram and I was shocked at how many women came back and said that their parents or their in-laws really strong-armed the grandchild into learning how to potty train. One grandmother came over with a potty, underwear, and apple juice and was like, I'm gonna teach your child how to use the potty now because it's time. And it communicated to the mom that she obviously didn't know what she was doing. And that's the kind of stuff that really motivates me to turn the camera on and talk to moms, because you got to remember the grandparents or your in-laws or your parents, they are also probably making this mean something about them and their grandchildren. You have to remember that grandparents are friends with other people who have grandkids, and they all talk about the grandkids. Like they're all like, oh, this is a picture of little Timmy, and oh, he's 2.5, he's already potty trained, he's wearing his big boy pants, and all the grandmas are like, oh wow, that's really great. And then you have the other grandma who's like, I cannot tell anybody here that my 4-year-old granddaughter is not potty trained yet. And so I want you to, as moms, remember that grandparents also have their friends. They're also sharing milestones that their grandchildren are doing. And once you understand that that is human nature, the more you calm down and the more that you understand that, like, hey, they're human too. It might not have to mean anything about you. The truth is, you are the parent of your child. God gave that child to you, and you are the one who is called to come alongside your children as they're learning new skills, and you get to level up and practice your parenting as they do. Now, I know we're only supposed to be talking about potty training. This is not a big deal, but do you see how complex it can be when you lay down your piece and you make the potty training mean something that it doesn't have to mean? And when something is new and it can feel scary and all of that, when you can pull back and say like, hey, I have full permission to enjoy potty training, well then guess what happens? You enjoy potty training. It's amazing. And so when I talk to moms behind the scenes, they're usually grumbling and complaining and saying like, this is the worst. Like, I'm not even looking forward to it. And usually what we're not looking forward to, we back away from. We lay down our piece. We don't want to get engaged. We don't want to enjoy the process. And I'm saying, hey, it might be possible that you could really enjoy this and that it could be fun, and you can help your child overcome their fears and their obstacles, and it's going to produce so much good fruit for all the milestones and skills that they're going to be learning in the future. Because the truth is, they've got reading to accomplish, they've got sports to try out, they've got new skills that's going to require practice. Every single human has the ability to step up and learn a new skill today, and everybody starts as a beginner. And as long as you can come alongside a beginner and you can make it really fun for them, you can laugh at your humanity, and I'll share what I mean by that in a couple seconds here. But if you can enjoy the process, the more you'll engage with it and just get it done. So potty training for me, I'll share with you Landrick. Landrick is my 4-year-old, and he just became potty trained like 4 months ago. I think it was just before his 4th birthday, and he was really nervous to go poop on the potty. And he is also very private, meaning he doesn't want to go to the bathroom when anybody else is in there, which is very different from my other kids. My other kids are all like, I gotta go, and they'll all just like rally in there and go together. Landrick does not do that. And he was really uncomfortable with releasing his poop into the potty. That was his hurdle. And so I saw him going pee in the front yard, no problem. And I was just kind of watching him. I'm like, okay, well, he's interested, but I could see that he had specifically thoughts about going poop on the potty. And so what I like to do when it comes to potty training is I like to plant seeds of appreciation and cast vision for them. The Bible says that where there is no vision, people perish. And I think that sometimes we forget that is for us today, even when it comes to something like potty training. I think sometimes we can take the sacred text and kind of be like, oh yeah, we have to have a vision for our family and our grandchildren, like these big grandiose visions. And I'm like, actually, you can help your 4-year-old have a vision of them going poop on the potty, and the more likely they are to entertain it and flip over puzzle pieces. What I mean by flipping over puzzle pieces is chewing on it. You, just like any human being, you know how someone says something to you and you're like, I don't want to do that. I'm not interested. But then they say it and you're like, well, I'm just really curious if I should do that. And then you think about it for like a week or two. And then you still keep thinking about it for like a month or two. And then you kind of start thinking like, oh, maybe they're right. Maybe I should try it. And then you start doing what they're doing. You have a slow change of mind. Well, what happened at the beginning of that process was actually you had a vision planted. You saw what might be possible. And at first you rejected on it, but the more your brain thought about it and mulled it over, the more it was like, well, maybe we should do that. And that's the gift of giving your child the ability to change their mind too. So I love casting vision for my kids. I don't just do this for potty training. I do this for anything where they're having a hard time learning a new skill. Reading, writing, anything like that. So what I mean by that specifically is one morning my son came out and I was doing the normal thing in the kitchen. I was, making food board and making coffee, and he comes out and he's like, good morning. I said, good morning, Lan. I said, oh, you know what? I had this crazy cool thought about you the other day. And he said, really? What is it? And I said, well, I had this thought of you going poop on the potty and then me taking you out for ice cream. Isn't that cool? So I thought maybe when you're ready, no rush, we could go get ice cream. What kind of ice cream would you get? And he was like, oh man, I would get chocolate with sprinkles. Obviously chocolate with sprinkles. And so he was kind of like, he kind of did this little thing. And so I planted a seed. At first he was like, oh yeah, I'm not gonna go poop on the potty. I don't even want ice cream. That was his first initial reaction. But notice that first initial reaction was also like, oh, but I really like ice cream. And my mom, she seemed already really proud of me. And I did communicate that to him. I said, you know, I'm already proud of you because I know you're gonna go poop on the potty, and I'm just so excited for you to be proud of yourself. And those were the kinds of conversations that I was doing every day. Like, oh man, guess what, Lan? I just want you to know that I'm just waiting for the day that you go poop on the potty because I can't wait to go on an ice cream date with you. And he'd be like, Mom, I know. And he'd kind of get this like grin. And I could tell that he was thinking about it. I was casting vision over him, and I was allowing his brain to chew on it. And that right there, when I understand, and when you understand the power of giving people the ability to chew on it, whether they're 2 years old, 3 years old, 5 years old, 20 years old, it doesn't matter. This works with my 12-year-old as well. They come around. It's really, really, really awesome to watch your kids say like, oh, that might be possible for me. And here's the thing, it totally is possible for them. And when you have the tiniest seed of faith on the scene, that's all you need to create a new skill and a new habit, and to set that new skill and habit in motion. So planting seeds is by far the best thing to do. If you're a mom who's like, I have a deadline, they have to be in preschool and potty trained by age 3, I want you to practice planting seeds, maybe at a little bit younger. If you know that's coming around, take them to the bathroom with you every time. Like, hey, I gotta go potty, will you come with me? And you guys go together and like, see, Mom uses toilet paper, and okay, will you help me flush? And like, just see if they're timid or not, see what they're willing to do, see how their engagement is with the bathroom. If some are more timid, then you can start planting seeds of how simple it is and how not scary it is, and you can plant that vision for them. It's really, really helpful. Now, when it comes to other people having opinions, because my friend Paige actually came back and said something that was really interesting when she said it. Her husband came home and said, you know, all the other 3-year-olds in preschool, they're also, like, they're all potty trained. And I just had to laugh, and I was like, yes. So what do you do when everybody seems to have a child that was potty trained by age 3, and you're going like, our kid's going to be the only one who can't do that? I just want to remind you that your brain doesn't usually offer you the next helpful thought. You have to do it on purpose. This is what it means to take your thoughts captive and to bring it to the obedience of Christ so you can access that peace, right? So the husband says, I saw a whole classroom of 3-year-olds. They're going poop and pee on the potty. This is it. And that may be true, okay? Everybody in that class is potty trained. But what we didn't see, what was the turmoil and emotional cost to getting those children potty trained? Because when you get a bunch of 3-year-olds in a room that are potty trained, yes, they're all potty trained, but you have no idea what happened behind the scenes to make that happen. Did we force them? Did we make them cry? Did we bribe them? Did the bribes not work? How much tears did we have? How much emotional toil did it cost for the mom and the dad? And how much emotional toil did it cost for the child? Right? So I want you to remember that when you see a bunch of kids who are already potty trained, you have no idea what was going on behind the scenes to make that happen. Some kids are naturally ready earlier and they just take to it no problem. My second daughter was that way. She was so happy to watch her older sister do it, and she's like, I'm gonna do it too. And she is that way today. When it comes to a new skill, she is not afraid to look like a silly dummy the first time. That is such a great skill to have in and of itself. My firstborn, no way. If she cannot crush it perfectly on the first time, she's out. Now, I can parent both of those children with success if I am willing to give them space, cast vision, pray for them, make it fun, understand their personality, and help them overcome, because I know this to be true. Once they overcome and they learn the new skill, a whole bunch of great dopamine and things that their body produces that makes them feel good about themselves is on the other side of that. And all those feel-good things are also on the other side of them not gaining the skill yet. You just have to help them access it. So casting vision, making them feel good in advance, letting them know that you believe in them. Those are all really powerful, powerful things. Now I'll speak to this and then I'll cut this short. So just to recap, when it comes to potty training, it's a choose your own adventure. You can pick whatever lane you want to. If you want to buy a course, if you want someone to hold your hand, if you want someone to do it for you, you can do this any way you want to. I choose to let my kids come to the bathroom with me, watch me. I teach them how I do it. I cast vision and I let them decide when they're ready. Okay, and that works for us. We don't put our kids usually in preschool or things where they have to be done by a certain time. I understand that that is going to be different for everybody, but it is a choose your own adventure. You get to enjoy it or you get to hate it. You get to pick, which is so, so, so helpful. And the last thing I would say is no matter how you decide to potty train, I want you to remember that you are the mother. You are very mindful of your relationship with your child and you care about their emotions. God wired you to be relational and care about their emotions. So you see when your child is ready and other people often overlook it. Even your husband, he's like, just get it done. Just move along. Just let's just go. And you're like, whoa, 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 whoa. We're not going to steamroll them. We're not going to just make them feel bad. We're not going to punish them for not going potty. Like we're going to slow down here. But a lot of times moms will say like, well, am I crazy for wanting to do this? No, you're their mother. You're the one who is designed to help them overcome and learn new skills and not trash the relational equity that you have. So I want to give you permission and saying like that is given to you by the Lord. Lean in. Now, will it require you to be strong when other people have opinions? Yes. One of the most helpful things that has really been there for me when it comes to not laying down my piece when my parents have opinions or my husband has opinions is I stop and I say, I understand where they may be coming from. It's possible they don't see what I see, and that's okay. And I also, I just want to affirm for all the moms here, I still get around my parents and feel like being a coward and being like, oh, maybe they do know. And I have to ignore the first 10 thoughts I have about my parents and their opinions. And I have to listen to the 11th thought, which is, hey, it's been a long time since my parents potty trained anybody. It's been 20 years. They probably forgot. And they probably parented a lot different than we did. I've noticed this thing with millennials specifically is we had parents, a lot of us grew up in homes where both parents were working, they were gone a lot, we were at school a lot, doing after school sports and things like that, and it was just like, come home, do your homework, get to bed, it was on a routine. We didn't do a lot of tending to the emotions, and their parents did the same thing. It wasn't a lot of how are you feeling? How are you doing? Let's talk about your emotions, let's talk about all your feelings. And that didn't serve us. That didn't serve our parents. We see that and we don't want to do the same thing moving forward. So I just want to affirm all you millennial moms and maybe even some of you Gen Z moms that is a thing that is being broken right now in our day and age, and that's okay. That's going to take you having some courage and saying hey, just because they all have this opinion doesn't mean I have to love them less, and it doesn't mean that that opinion has to dictate what I'm doing, but it's also possible you can see things about the relationship with your child that are really necessary and really good, and they look different, and it's meant to look different. Because we're doing things different. We're not going to just shove our feelings away, and we're not going to steamroll our kids while they're learning new skills. So I hope that this podcast really blessed you. If you're watching this on YouTube, this is the very first time I've ever posted the Peace on Purpose podcast over here. But if you liked it, and if you know a mom who is feeling overwhelmed by potty training and wants to know that they're not alone, that the peanut gallery is happening to every single mom, and you want to give them a more peaceful, lighthearted way that they can enjoy, then please share this with them. I really appreciate you, and I look forward to seeing you guys next time.